Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Tuesday Tussle for this Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. We're calling this edition of the show The Game Plan and Purpose in Boxing. Yeah. So welcome everybody. I hope that you've had a productive, prosperous day as we move right on into another holiday on the horizon. Hopefully people will have an opportunity to be able to fulfill whatever it is that is on your agenda or what you would like to be on your agenda for this. But there's always plenty to give thanks for because you are present. And if you're present, that means that there should be something to appreciate your being here in this moment and instance. Yeah! So never forget and do your best to remember the less fortunate. Yes. So, We're here this evening, multi-streaming on YouTube as well as the Rumble app. Once again, I'm encouraging everyone who is subscribed to the Stormy B Man channel to try their hand and hat at joining me, following me over at Rumble, because we're going to be able to do some things over there that may find restrictions here on YouTube. So it's one of the reasons that I'm talking it up so much as of late, because having options works as a premium for any of us content creators who are looking to be upwardly mobile. Yeah. Tonight's subject was brainstormed after coming out of last weekend's Ring 4 fight card. Got a chance to catch up on some really good boxing from that card from the beginning to the end. And though maybe not all of the bouts were an engagement of entertainment, some things that are prominent took place, particularly the main event and the fight before I shouldn't say before, the fight that opened the card for the Ring 4. And that would have been Abdullah Mason taking on Sam Noakes. A lot to be said about those fights, the main event and that opening fight, because we saw elements of fighters exhibiting their purpose, but not so much game plans in both of those matches. Now, the fight that did show game plan was the co-main event. And that was when Devin Haney challenged Brian Norman Jr. for Norman Jr.'s WBO welterweight title. I'm not so certain that the Norman camp had a ready game plan as much as they showed up to exhibit the fact that they were there to fight and for a fight. But that doesn't mean that the game plan was ready. It doesn't. And see, those guys, they were there, but I don't know that they were ready for what was to come. And that's what makes me say I'm not certain that they were totally prepared. But formulating a game plan is imperative if you seek success. You need it because you need to map out what your intents are, how you plan to go about it, and what must transpire for you to be at the very most successful. Now, you have to also play in the fact that your opponent is going to be doing some things to go against whatever your best laid plans may happen to be. And that's where we find where the truth happens. Yeah, somewhere in between or all together. And that's where the subject is for this evening. The subject is right there. Purpose. Exhibiting purpose What is purpose? When you're a fighter, your purpose should be known as you enter the fray. It should be known what your objectives are, what you had planned to do, what you expect from the opponent, and how to match the pieces for success and going forward, pulling out of the opponent the weaknesses that will allow your strengths to flow, and vice versa. Yeah. Having a few troubles here on my end as far as my laptop is acting up again, but it waited until I went live. It was fine all the way up until now, because I was doing some things on the laptop, and so now it wants to misbehave. It's one of the reasons why you don't see me on the screen yet, because it's frozen. I often wonder, is that YouTube messing with me? But you guys can still hear me fine, because I'm listening to the playback in my earpiece, and I can hear that I am still able to communicate. Wow, look at this. Just keeps doing it. Try something a little bit different here. Yep, that's what I thought. Bear with me, family, while I try something. Okay, we back. Sorry about that. Must got a bug in the computer or something, but I had to restart it. So we will resume where we left off. Let's see here. I've even realized I can do this on Rumble as well. It interrupted the stream on Rumble, but we back. So yeah. We have to do what we have to do sometimes. But here I am. I'm back. So let's get into this. We're talking about game planning. And we had a chance to witness these two gentlemen on the card. It was a great example of what should and should not be done, both leading up to the promotion, an event, and during the event. Devin, who has been really a well-seasoned guy coming up through the Mayweather gym and everything, and being around so many professional fighters, trainers, and gaining the experience and knowledge. He has learned certain aspects of the sporting game, such as, especially if you're traveling outside of your familiar grounds and even the country, to get there early enough to allow yourself acclimation. That's a heavy part of preparation, because becoming acclimated to the environment where you're going to have the event, you get a chance to adjust biologically, you get a chance to adjust psychologically, mentally. Your physical shape should be good because you've had a training camp, but you still want to be sharp as you enter the environment. It's going to set you on course for the task at hand. Now, we understand that the Normans did arrive a little late and not enough time for a total adjustment given how far across the world they had to travel. Lack of experience and maybe a little bit of overconfidence. That setback would definitely prove crucial, because you think you're good when you're really not certain if you're good. And there seemed to be a great deal of posturing. There was no way that these people were as prepared as the challenging camp, because the challenging camp has been in that seat several times over the years, both through challenging and being the champion. It makes a difference when you're experiencing it from either side. And that's something that the Norman camp found out as a painful reality. There had been moments of listening to picks and pans over the fight. You have your detractors, you have your supporters, those who will say, hey, I think it's going to be this person victorious because of XYZ. And then you had a whole lot of, I think it's going to be this person because I don't like that person. Well, that usually never really plays into things, what you like. It's really about the two being together, having done the things that are necessary to place them in a position to be victorious. And we know now, hindsight being 2020, and also after certain revelations of how things played out, that there were parties involved that were not necessarily prepared properly. So the game plan, you have to question, because if you're not going to be in the gym, if you're not going to be taking this serious, what are you doing this for? Is it just for the opportunity to secure the bag? Well, let me remind people who talk about securing the bag. First of all, what is a bag? Can anyone out there listening in the chat write in the chat for me what a bag is? This is not a question to ask for a theoretic answer, but just simply, what is a bag? You could have a bag of chips, you could have a trash bag, you could have a Glad bag, you could have a sandwich bag. What's a bag? See, there's Eric Jordan out there trying to reach for the scholastic answer. I told you, I gave you examples, and you still talked about it. money. We're not talking money in this instance, brother. Not talking money. Bag. What is a bag? Thank you, Universal. Thank you. You see how it, when you just allow the brain to work, that's exactly what that is. Now, understanding that, can a bag have a hole in it? Still waiting on an answer. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, Universal is he's batting 1,000 right now. Yes, a bag can have a hole in it. So if you were in it just to secure a bag, could it not be possible that your bag can be breached? This is why securing the bag is not necessarily what you should have in mind. You're going to be paid unless you violate in some kind of ways where they take, a punishment by you forfeit your purse. But by ill preparation, lack of a game plan, lack of purpose, that bag already has several holes in it. Would you not agree? And if you have several holes in your bag, some things are going to slip through the cracks and crevices, right? Like the opportunity for victory. Ooh, Stormy actually say that? Absolutely he did. How many people think that Devin Haney's game plan was to come out there and box Brian Norman's brains out? How many people think Devin Haney's game plan was to go out there and take the fight to Brian Norman Jr. for a shootout? How many people think that Devin Haney's game plan was to wait for the perfect moment and send the less experienced Norman under these auspices a message that would disrupt his game plan and his mental state for the rest of the fight? If you selected choice number 3, you're spot on. I don't have to knock you out to defeat you. I can outsmart you and defeat you. I don't have to out-physical you. I don't have to out-punch you. But if I throw the correct punches, punch placement could come into play, and the damnation of the shots thrown can also decide something. There were moments in this matchup where Norman Sr. was telling his son, you're going to have to go out there and F him up. What does that entail? Street talk? No boxing instructions. This is from a man who's a former fighter himself now. Right? Or am I disillusioned here? You see, being able to use the jab to start all affairs, to negotiate distance, to negotiate power play, to disrupt rhythm, and to get into rhythm, to defend, and most definitely to offend. When a fighter is able to use the jab in that regard, he can be a complete fighter and a hell of a load to deal with. Some of you may think that this image that I put up on the screen here is depicting Devin Haney throwing a hook. That's not a hook. It's a power jab. A power jab. They were given punch stats during the fight, and Norman Jr. was busy with moving his hands, but he was not stepping in with the shots to land them on the surface. He was not seeking to place them in an area where something else can follow up. In fact, there were instances when he looked to load up what he terms his money punch is a left hook, and he found himself being susceptible to a left hook. Earlier today on the Brother Drew Titans show, there were people speaking on the expectations of Norman Jr. and that he nearly did what he was supposed to do but wasn't able to get certain things done. This whole thing that I'm talking about, the game plan, the reason why he wasn't able to get certain things done is due to the game plan of the Haney camp. To take him out of the element of where he is most comfortable and to design a manner of which gives him a problem to solve. We were told by his own camp that he has great footwork. We were told that he can box exceptional. It's just that his knockouts over his last couple of fights have dictated elsewise. But I beg to differ. All you had to do is go back to the fight with Bohachika and Quentin Randall, and you will see examples in those fights of being in a boxing situation. Not only has he been known and seen to be caught wide open, but vulnerable because he wants to fight. I heard a content creator speaking earlier on this fight, and they were talking about how fighters need to fight a certain kind of way, but the old adage has always been true, and it still is. You box a puncher and you fight a boxer. If you're the boxer, the other guy should not want to try to outbox you if that is where your strengths lie. They should try to enforce you to become more of a fighting mode so that they can have the opportunities to best you. If you're the puncher, you want the other guy to punch with you, but if he's smart, he's going to box you so that he can keep you off kilter so you cannot be comfortable in your zone of fighting. This is not power versus force. This is the sweet science. You ever had a lid on a jar that was difficult to pop open? You're straining and you're trying to get it, and sometimes you have to grab something like a towel and put it on there and try to really work your way of getting, and you wonder how that top got so tightly wound on it, because you remember last time you put it on, you just screw it tight and that's it. But there's a vacuum of air when you put the top on there and you turn it, and it's like it sucks in from the inside. That's where that comes from. It's physics. That's why those little pieces of fabric that they make, that you could put it on top of a jar and you could just slightly turn it and it'll pop that top off, because it generates a certain friction when you turn it. It's almost like a foam piece of fabric or whatever. I don't know what it's actually made out of, cork or something. It's really weird. I have like 2 of them in my home, but when you ever use that thing, the lids come right off. So what I'm trying to say is, when you're meeting force with force, it's like, oh, you're battling, you're struggling. Put that on. Same thing with boxing, people. So your purpose needs to be one who is seeking to find the easiest route. You ever be driving in traffic and you using the GPS and it's telling you there's slowing down traffic up ahead. You could use this detour and save 10 minutes. But if you're one of those people that's driving, holding your phone, looking at it like this, it doesn't make any difference anyway, because you're going to hold every damn body else up when you make the detour or if you stay in the traffic. Working against yourself. The biggest surprise from Saturday's fight was to see Devin Haney knock Brian Norman down after they had spoke in their face-off of Norman feeling that Devin couldn't hurt him. That was interesting. Very interesting, because what we saw looked more like he was hurt than being in a flash dropped situation. I had remarked when it was explained by Senior that, that was a flash knockdown. Yeah, it could have been. His life flashed before itself, because he was like, what the hell am I doing down here? Any man can be knocked off his feet. Any man. Right punch, right angle, right placement, down he goes. Just because a person has never been dropped don't mean he can't be dropped. And the time when a person can get caught most in the sport of boxing is typically when he's trying to do something to the other guy. I've often talked about it. Knowing the correct counter to throw or to punch with a person when they're punching. Your punch get there because they're not expecting it. They're not accustomed to someone punching with them. They're accustomed to someone cowering or backing up or retreating or things of that nature. Then that's where that comes into play even more. Purpose. You know, Bruce Lee once said, talking about fighting in the streets, if a person is deciding that they want to bite your nose off, there's a pretty good chance that they will succeed. First of all, because the opposing person has no clue that that's what your intent is until you actually do it. How do you prepare for that? You can't. That's why understanding what purpose means in boxing and how to apply purpose in your objectives is very important and is something that should be practiced in your regime. When you are training in your camp, whatever, your purpose, your overlaying goal, objective, what is it? I remember when Evander Holyfield was challenging Mike Tyson. And they were saying, like, Evander, how do you expect to stand up to Mike Tyson's power? He was like, I'm not worried about his power. In order for his power to be effective, he's got to be able to land on me. He's got to be successful in nailing me. But in order for him to get in a position to be able to do that, he's got to take what I do. And they were like, oh, well, Evander, you don't hit as hard as Mike. He was like, it doesn't matter how hard I hit. If I can hit him with one, I can hit him with more than one. He's been known to get people out of there sometimes with one. I've been known to get people out of there throwing a few. So if I don't let him throw one and he's got to defend a few from me, who do you think's going to prevail and come out on top? I was like, this man is very intelligent when it comes to fighting, because it's like, it's true. You can't be worried about what the other guy's plan is, but you have to make him acknowledge what yours is. Yeah, Hen Dog, I know you were out there, you know. But I was trying to assist you, you know. You were like that little child when you say, hey, come back, don't go there. And they just, and you're like, hey, come on back over here, sit down over here. And they go, come on back. And they trip and they fall on their face, boom. And now they scrape their jaw or something and they bleeding and they crying. Crying. I told your butt to come and sit down. Yeah. But see, some of y'all, it's like, it's hard, man. Thick as thieves and skulls thick as rocks. Yeah. But I do try to tell you also to watch boxing. Why? Because if you're watching boxing, then you can see certain things. You can see the experience shine through for someone. Everyone is not a prodigy. A prodigy is someone that'll be special in times of unfamiliar circumstances, and they still adapt, adjust, and come out on top because there's just a gift granted in that instance. You saw that with Abdullah Mason taking on Sam Noakes. A less experienced guy, a less capable guy, a less talented guy, Sam Noakes wins that fight easy. But Abdullah fought Sam Noakes' fight, beat him at that, and still come through as if he was the veteran fighter under the circumstances. And it was really interesting to watch because there's not a lot of guys that can do what Abdullah did, which is why he should be celebrated for his success. Hen Dog, there are still content creators out here on YouTube and everything on the airways presently still saying that Devin Haney doesn't have power. Excuse me. He has something. That's why guys don't want to get in the ring with him. They say that with bravado. Regis Prograde was saying the same thing till he touched the canvas twice. I believe at the end of the day, what has happened is Devin has finally made it to the weight class he should have been at a few years ago. And no, that doesn't mean he was a weight book. What that means is he was cutting weight unnecessarily, hanging around a division where men didn't want to fight him. He should have just moved on up. But now that strength is there. That punch resistance is there. The power is there. If he's throwing his punches with proper technique, he's going to hurt a lot of people. And if he ever gets that edge on him where he figures that he's just going to take you out, oh boy. There's too much sentiment speaking against him for him not to be successful in what I say, because people are going to do like the Normans and underestimate. I think it's time for me to premiere one of my little memes. I made this meme just before the show. Keep your eyes on the screen. I hope my brother Drew Titan is out there because he would like this one. But I heard Blue Blood Sports TV video about Tank on the run. Why you running, man? Why you running, huh? Sucker, huh? You can't make this stuff up. And your followers are running right behind you, like Michael Jackson trying to escape from an auditorium back door. Now, are you ready for this? Because, you know, if you're ready for it, you're ready for it. But I'm going to tell you, the Tank Davis followers ain't going to be ready for this one, y'all. Let me see a show of hands out there in the chat if you're ready for it, huh? I just want to see a show of hands. You can put the hand meme up there like this, you know. It could be a white hand, gold hand, black hand, blue hand. I don't care. Just put the hand up there like that. I want to raise your hand if you're sure, huh? Purpose. Look at Universal Truth. Universal be participating. He might not say much, but he be participating, and I love that, man. I do. All right. Keep your eye on the screen. This is the new premiere of my latest meme on Tank. And shout out to Blue Blood for that video earlier. Yeah. See, those who left earlier because my computer was acting up gonna miss it, huh? But y'all could tell them all about it, huh? Yep. You know, Stormy B, man, come up with some stuff, man. Sometimes it's pretty good. Always entertaining, always. So when a guy has prepared properly, he can enjoy the revels of his success, huh? The revels. All of you critics crawl. All of you people that wrote that I was gonna be defeated, that I was gonna lose, that he was too big, he was too strong, he was a big bad monster. Didn't you hear that somewhere before? From a strong Muslim black fighter? Sound familiar? Absolutely. Absolutely. What you think Tank's purpose is right now? To get away? Should have taken the Lamont Roach fight, bro. Should have just went on into that rematch and everything would have been kosher. But you thought you was gonna be smart, huh? You thought you had something for him, huh? Yep. They got something for you. It's called a jumpsuit and handcuffs, huh? Salute to Devin. Just keep on winning, baby. Just keep on winning. Hen dog. I got one thing to say, Hen dog, for you. Because I tried to tell you something before last Saturday and you wouldn't listen to Stormy B, man. You know what your grade is already. I ain't got to tell you. But I do have a song for you, huh? Yep. That's it, man. You know, that's it. That's it. You know. But I'm glad you're here because I can point it out to you and try to remind you one more time, you know. But it ain't gonna do no good anyhow. You're just gonna go out there like them little child I was talking about. Come on back. Come on, sit down on it. Come on back. And then get hit by a car. Yep. So that's what it is, you know. But it's okay. You ain't never by yourself. Huh? I just want you to know that too. Huh? You won't be by yourself. So. This is just like them guys who end up going to jail. They ain't never gonna be alone. Never gonna be alone, huh? They gonna have plenty of company, huh? Some company they ain't gonna even want, but they gonna have it anyway, huh? Oh man, this becomes too easy sometimes. Too easy. Well, you guys, I've been here long enough. That's my hour. I got new merchandise, homemade here. This is homemade merchandise. You see the Stormy B Man logo there, right there on my shirt? Yeah. You can hit up that email to get that. You got that, got the hoodie, got the tee. We working on some stuff here. But yeah, that's my hour. I'm gonna get ready to get on up out of here. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDVC, and we will catch you guys later and on the next one. Peace to everybody. Check out those premieres. Go over there and give me a follow on Rumble. And if you don't, F+ to you too.